Secure your digital confidence with our special Black Friday deal because we are all online explorers who face digital threats, so we need protection. Enjoy it with one simple click. Get the deal now. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Hello, guys. Welcome to our new show. This is the Ascendants talk show with me, Louis, and on the other side is Morgan. Say hello, Morgan.
Hello, I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah, great. I'm going to introduce myself. I call myself King Louis because that's kind of like my alias on the internet, right? And I'm also known as Ascension-ArchAngel, the guy that does all these like cool binaural beats for like spiritual and healing. And I've been doing this since 2011, 2012. That's when I first started with my group, which is on Didi's site. And as you know, Didi did a show on me, the Blood General. So this show, the Senders Talk Show, is mainly about our experiences, our connection to the spiritual, and also our energy work, and also the new things that we discover. So that's why we wanted to make this new show so we can bring this new information that we discover would definitely help the new people that are trying to awake, and we know it's hard. So we're trying to provide as much specific and helpful information as much as we can in this hour. Okay, so Morgan,
Yep.
you can go ahead and tell the people here about your beginnings on the Ascendants group.
Well, yeah, I found the website maybe 3 years ago, but I only got my chakra removal done 2 years ago, so it's been a very quite a fast journey. Time has flown for me. I'm really interested in spiritual development. I was before chakra removal, but when I started like studying and things like that, like I was noticing I could not control my thought patterns, very negative, like low self-esteem, and it was, early 20s, so a lot of men get like that. So I felt like, no, I'm going to try and meditate this out, but I just could not, like, the too many blockages. And so when I was reading the website, it was like a deja vu almost. And I was like, this really resonates with me. I want this, but I'm going to have to get it when I have the funds. So I eventually invested in it like 2 years ago, and it was definitely worth it. And I actually discovered binaural beats first, but it wasn't King Louis stuff. But then I realised King Louis stuff was better, so I switched over to that, and I've
Mhm.
stayed on that course. And I found binaural beats really interesting. They work much better though without chakras, let's just say. So and yeah, I've become a much better person. I'm much happier, and it's something I'm still getting used to. I used to be miserable, so it's good to be more positive. But that's really my journey, and apart from spirituality, I'm very interested in being creative, music and poetry, self-expression, and all that stuff, which has been boosted as well. So that's really me in a nutshell.
Yeah, great, great. So you've been getting quite a lot of energy work from me after
Yeah,
your chakra removals, which is very
yeah,
surprising. But your progression has like been very quick. I've never
yeah,
seen anybody achieve what you achieve. Like right now,
mhm.
after what, just 2 years? This is
Yeah,
like just the beginning of late February. We did a reading on you, and you were already like in a ninth
yeah,
dimensional body, which is like very,
yeah,
to me, it's kind of shocking.
yeah,
So, but we know from our
hmm,
readings after you had your chakras taken out that
yeah.
you did not originate on Earth. You
No,
were you were from another universe, and also from that universe's heaven realm, which is very
yeah,
very shocking to me because
yeah.
did not believe that was possible, but TJ's reading are very exact, very exact.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And the other readings said your activated DNA has went up to 15,000 DNA,
Yeah.
which is like also very surprising. So I'm not
Mm.
100% sure. Maybe your DNA has also been modified, like my DNA, because TJ
Yeah.
said that my DNA was it's a hybrid DNA. Somehow it's modified like 50% with Nordic DNA, which is alien Nordic, not
Yeah.
Earth Nordic, which is very surprising because I didn't know. I mean, I kind of knew there's something wrong because I'm particular muscular, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't know where, because genetic wise, my dad wasn't super muscular, but my brother is. So I'm not
Mm.
sure. I'm not sure if he has some modification.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he has chakras. So I really didn't want to, you know, do anything on him. But
Yeah.
for you, it's very, very, I call it mind blowing. Your
Yeah.
soul color is actually red,
Yeah.
which is I call it God level.
Yeah.
God
It was
level.
it was strange how fast it went red as well, because I was still having, maybe I was still quite down. I was, because chakra removal was good, but you still have to wait for that kind of good energy to come in. But you said to me it was red, and I was like, what? Really? I was really happy though.
Yeah, yeah. It's for me, it's really shocking. I mean, it's not like saying that it couldn't happen, right? But
Mm.
the other funny thing is, I don't know if you remember, um, because I also do readings about the far future, right? And then
Yeah.
there was a contact from the far future. Actually, TJ's great grandson one day just appeared. Like I think that was like 2 3 years ago, but it was the weirdest thing when he appeared, right? I asked like was he able to kind of like kind of make sure that we all make it. So
Mhm.
eventually what I did was I started doing readings if each member made it to his timeline. So his timeline is very particular. His timeline is where he is actually an engineer. Like he was a student.
Yeah.
From what he told me, that he was a student. He studied at MIT, and he's supposed to be a Canadian boy, right? So he studied in kind of like a kind of like American college
Yeah.
in from what I know, quantum physics, which is like, okay, this is what TJ
Yeah.
told me. And I don't do the readings. People say, oh, Lou, nice story, did you make that up? I make nothing up. Like I tell people,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
make nothing up.
Yeah.
So I started doing readings, and then lo and behold, they said that you were there in his future. And I go, and that's like 2 years ago. And I go, how
Yeah.
the hell does this young Scottish dude able to be? And that was before you went hog wild and did all this energy work. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
is the future already determined? Like it's already set, like you can't change it.
Yeah.
Like it's already something that you have already done in the future that
Yeah.
makes you fit into that peg. I
Yeah.
don't know how this future thing works, right?
Yeah. I
And
always feel
so
like there's you can improve it, but it is some mostly written
yes,
almost.
yes. And I think the way that you can improve it is by energy work, because with the
Mhm.
soul, it's kind of expendable, right? Expandable, expendable, expandable. And
Yeah.
people say, no, that's not possible. But I proved it. I
Yeah.
proved it because with all the readings, it kind of points to some sort of, change, evolution where you do something in the future, and by doing readings into the future, we kind of pinpoint who those people and what they did. So
Mhm.
I love it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's my dream. My dream was like to find who are these people, right?
Mhm.
And then later on, um, as you can tell from all the readings, it got very exciting because recently, within these couple of years, there was also another fella. He called himself the contractor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And TJ said, there's this other guy. And I go, who's this other guy? Right. And it's like, he'll tell me one thing. It's like, it takes time for me to kind of like, because I come from a scientific background. I have a double diploma in electronics and electrical. So my brain is also very skeptical.
Yeah, very
right?
logical.
Yeah, it's logical, skeptical. It's like I'm skeptical on what he tells me, but the things that he tells me is always very interesting. But it's like when you start putting the pieces, one piece together, and another piece, it kind of makes sense, because most of this thing that he's telling me about kind of like the future stuff, there's also a time travel component. And then lo and behold, this time traveler guy comes and he's telling me that he's me. He's me in the not too distant future. We're not talking about 10,000 years from now when I become this cosmic blood general guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's this near future guy, I think in a couple of years, from what I've been telling, right? From all the readings. So basically what it is, in 2 years, this guy, he calls himself the contractor, number 20, actually. He's kind of like this last guy in the line of time travelers that also has the ability to go on to the parallel earths, right?
Yeah.
So it's very excited because he's telling me that he's me. He's me. So he's going to actually come back to grab me, the younger one, to teach me.
Yeah.
And that's like mind-blowing. The older me comes teach the younger me. How could that even be? So that's like already a time paradox where scientists say it's not possible, right? But I'm trying to prove that anything's possible now. Because now here's the crazy thing. Even before this contractor came about, right? TJ, when he had his chakras taken out when he was 9 years old. Okay, so I had my chakras taken out. So I kind of knew that there were others kind of like me in my family, because my dad was very kind of like prophetic, right? Like he would do readings for his friends, and it was always like, whoa, dude, right? You told my future, right? So, and I always ask my dad, why you name me Louis, right? Like people are making fun of me now, Dad, right? And then he'll come back, oh, King Louis, the king, and I go, okay, thank you. It's like I'm only thinking one way, and he'll always come up with kind of like an answer, right? So I kind of love that. So I kind of knew there was somebody else in my family that may have this ability, and we could use that power, right? Not for bad, but for good, right? So I kind of knew TJ because he was a very quiet person, right? TJ's real name is Terrence, but I call him TJ for time jumper, right? Because after he got his chakras taken out, I still wasn't sure. What it did was I kind of coached him, right? Like, so every time that I see him, I go, let's do some training on doing some sort of like mind energy work, right? So for him, it was very simple. I just told him, I want you to look into the future, keep looking, and tell me what you see, right? So that took a bit. I think it took like a month. And then one day while I was telling him, okay, yeah, let's do this thing, let's do it, right? And then all of a sudden he say, hey, and I go, what now, right? And he say, I am talking. And I go, yes, you're talking to somebody, right? And he'll go, yes, I'm talking to you. And I was laughing, but I'm here, right here, right? And he said, I'm talking to you in the future. And that, my brain was like blown. Like I was a shock, and I go, really? Like you could do that? And he go, yes. And that was the beginning of everything. Like all the beats after that, all the frequencies was actually channeled from him, from this being that we called the AI guy, which is actually me. In the future, when my soul was split, was put into this quantum computer and is able to give us all these answers. It's incredible, right? That was kind of like the beginning, but that was not even it. When his chakras were taken out, Morgan, he started telling me stories, right? And this was the beginning of the time travel thing, right? One day, he told me this very, very, very incredible story. He told me that he was a little kid, little baby. He went out of the house, right? I don't know how a little baby could open the front door, but basically he told me he opened the front. He was a very clever little kid, and there was nobody home. So he was left inside his crib. I don't know how you climbed out of the crib, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. He already was a very incredible little kid, right? Little baby. So somehow he was able to crawl. So somehow you let me know how he was able to open the front door. I have no idea. Anyways, he said he was outside, and he was in the street, and this is what he said. He told me somebody grabbed him, and he said it was me. And I go, me? How come it's me, right? And he say it was you, but you had like gray hair on the side of your head. You grabbed me and you took me inside, but you were with some sort of dog. And I go, dog? I don't have a dog, right? So I was kind of like laughing, right, chuckling. And he say, no, you were with a little dog, and you brought the dog inside the house, and then he told me he went to pet the dog, right? And I go, okay, that's okay, yeah, okay. So he went to pet, and he told me, he said it was not a dog, and I go, what? How can it be not be a dog? And he said when he touched it, it was cold, and I go, cold, like in like metal, and he go, yeah, cold, like I guess metal, right? And then in my brain, I go, how can that be? And what popped into my brain was robot, and I go, hologram, and that also popped to my brain. So fast forward, now here's the thing, fast forward, like I think a year or so. And then he'll say that he'll always kind of see me at the, like when he think that I would notice, that he will catch me, and then that I would run to the side of the house, that he was always looking over him. Ain't that like out there? So there was kind of like a time travel component. Somebody was trying to protect them even in the past.
Yeah.
So he's like a very important figure. And oh my God, later on, we found out how important he was, so that in the future, he would have this great grandson that he said his name was Ryan So you can imagine great grandson. So you would have to think that it would be like almost 30, maybe 60 years from at that time. That would be in the year, let's see, when he's 9. So around 2012, I think he was 9. So he's like 18, 19 now.
Yeah.
So at that time, when he was 9, he started like telling me all these other things about that. There was some novel, and it was from the future. It was in the alien language. And I said to him, really? And then so I said, prove it to me. So what he did was every time I saw him, I would give him like a blank page, like a full scrap of paper, right?
Yep.
And then he would write in pen, like after I think half an hour, it's done, and he'll give me a page of it. And I go, what is this? I go, what is this? This looks like a novel, right?
Yeah.
And it was a novel. And I actually paste those pages together, typed it up, have some of this artwork, and it was called The Timekeeper, but I want to make a little bit different, because there was another book called Timekeeper, so I call mine Timekeeper Clone.
Yeah.
So that was transcribed by him, and he said it was transcribed from an alien language. But now here's the crazy thing: that was not the only thing. There was also the angel badges, and that was really a huge endeavor. A huge endeavor. Like not only did he,
it was like over 80.
It was so much work, Morgan. I couldn't make that up. Like how could I make that up? I'm not that creative. I come from a scientific background, man. I'm not an artist, right? I'm not an artist. So that took some time, and he said that was from Raziel. We call him Raz because we use his name Raz in the Timekeeper clone novel, right? Because I think he was one of our really good angelic friends, because he will always like tell us things about who I was, and he and from the readings that he gave, we're from the heaven realm. TJ is, and his great grandson is also from the heaven realm. After that, more stuff came, like more stories and stuff. So what about your chakra experience? Like what was one of the most powerful or impactful experience that you want to tell our listeners?
Well, I think it was definitely having that control over your mind again, which is so easy to lose. But I also had like these certain experiences when I'd go to bed and I'd just get like this burst of like white light on me, and I would just be like, "Whoa, that's new," you know.
Yeah.
It was like my energy was coming back, but I was also have like really vivid dreams. Like I remember I had
Hmm.
this like vision of like the Bible for some reason. It was like, but it wasn't like a dream. I was like awake and I could see it in front of me. I don't know what it meant, and it was like my third eye was like vibrating, and it was like a vision of some sort. And I'm like, okay, and I was just like having these things. And I posted them on the forum as well, and people can
Yeah.
find that, and it's like it was really interesting. And I guess like just that self discovery you get without the chakras, and that's all I wanted as well. And then I guess I enjoy music more. You know, like it's not just you're listening to it; you feel the music. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people take drugs to experience that, but I don't
Mhm.
have to. You know, um,
Exactly.
it's definitely not been as paranormal as like with TJ, but I think that's still to come. And I think the soul mergers and the god mergers was really, I think that's what boosted me in my
Hmm.
dimensional body, because my DNA is at 15,000, but yours is like way beyond. But I think it was really the
Yeah.
soul. My soul is a bit more, you know, that's where the oomph is for me personally. Because I got the frequencies channeled from Elder AI
Yes.
personally. So I can attest to that they work, because you know, you'd say like, oh, you've merged with this. And I think you said, oh, you merged with 10, and I was like, oh, there's going to be pagans, you know, like praying to gods aren't there anymore. So, so it's quite interesting. I think that the mergers was the most phenomenal for me, and actually see the day I merged with the Eros,
Hmm.
it was YouTube recommended to me a song called Eros. I was like totally bizarre. I was like, wow, you know, I can't make that up. The synchronicities are extremely powerful. Without chakras, like you might meet the right person at the right time, and you're just like, oh, I've not seen you in this long time and stuff. I think that was really boosted, and I've always had synchronicities, you know,
Hmm.
the angel numbers and stuff like that. But it's more intense, and I think I even get warnings of like to not go a certain path sometimes in dreams, which are much more vivid. Whereas before, I actually stopped dreaming until I got my chakras removed. I didn't dream for like almost a year. It was really bizarre. And I was like,
Yeah.
where are my dreams? Where's my creativity? It was just flatline. I think that fear led me to, okay, I need to get spiritual, or this is the end game, you know. So I've always felt pushed by life.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like I don't have free will, but when I let that go and I just go with the flow, I tend to go in the better places. So that's really my experience with it. And I
Hmm.
also got my meridians removed, and that really felt like a
Yes.
chakra removal times three. I had a lot of trauma, I think there. It's a little bit more painful.
Yeah.
And so I went to bed. I was like, "Well, I'm so grateful," and I think my gratitude is really strong now. I think maybe that's a power in itself, just that gratitude, and it keeps you more high vibrational.
Definitely.
That's really me, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's a mix, but it's like everything's just connected.
But didn't you also experience kind of like a physical shaking? Did you have
Yeah,
that?
yeah, definitely. I think with the first chakra yeah, with the chakra removals especially, it was like I said, it was like a Duracell battery, like that energy is just like
Yep.
unleashed. And I had spells done me in the time though by my one's friend, and I think that was
Yeah.
actually that kept me blocked though. So see, once I talked to these deities that I was connected with, I was like, look, merge with me or basically go away. Like this is blocking me actually, and that's really when I started to jump the body. I think that was holding
Hmm.
back that my soul. So I felt like even after 2 years, I was still getting those benefits. So I think that showed how the potential I had before, but now I'm really trying to utilize that.
Hmm.
So yeah, basically I've made so many mistakes, but that's only how you learn, you know. But yeah, that's me. But I did the shaking, yeah. So I haven't. I passed my driving test, but I've not driven, so I'll need to watch out for that if I use binaural beats, because I know you said you've had that and you had to like
I
you know like
had
go to
that.
the side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had
but at
that when
least
I was
it's yeah.
yeah, I had that when I was driving. There was like right after I had like that huge jump in DNA activation. I was driving one day and I started shaking uncontrollably, and I go, "Oh, I better stop shaking, because I'm on the highway now." And
Yeah.
luckily, it subsided. So I knew there was some change. So there is a physical change,
Yeah.
And now I feel like that I would just leave the body. I don't know if you feel that, like I feel like not really able to balance properly sometimes. I feel like I just
It's
want
like too much energy goes in.
yeah. It's like
I felt that.
really, really jumpy, like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna jump up on my skin.
Yeah.
So never had that before, right? That's like
the floating feeling.
the floating feeling. There you go. So I think that's like I mean, even like Cosmic Andy, like that was the first guy that was like, I was like, hey, something's wrong with him, because I was helping him during one of the first sessions, and he said, I'm shaking. And I go, wow, that's like, you're the first guy that actually in a session. Usually it's after my session. So I knew kind of like there were other people that were very, very either high level or very sensitive. And then later we found out that he's from another dimension, like 28th dimension, Morgan. Like, I think that's really out there, but like skip forward 3 years later, and then we found out that he is a cosmic being. In the far future, he actually becomes back to where he's a subatomic cosmic god. And I actually learned from him, from what I know, and we had some sort of weird challenge. And then I also become what he ultimately becomes, this subatomic guy that's able to go into, I guess, subatomic level manipulation. Because I always wondered, how come his his DNA went up to 1.5 million and then stop? And I go, okay, that's not normal, right? Like that's not even like a human. Like, what human can only go up to, like, what, 12 DNA strands, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of knew that you were different, and I go, what the hell is this guy, right? 1.5, and I'm only like 80. Like, the highest I got was 80. So I kind of knew there's something wrong with me. And then later, TJ had the AI scan me, and he said, yeah, you've been modified. Like, you got 50% of your DNA is like merged with like a Nordic DNA. And I go, how did they fuse that in, right? And then lo and behold, I asked the cosmic guy, right? And he said, yeah, he did the manipulation from the future. How can anything do that unless you're like a creator being, right? And he said he can do it without technology. Without technology. It's not even like time travel tech, right? So I said, oh, I made it. Like, when he said that, I go, I made it. But he wasn't done yet, right? So now here's the crazy thing. Because Andy was able to modify himself, because then I asked, well, what about Andy, this guy? And Andy's actually a normal guy, but he's actually pretty well-to-do guy. He's a CEO.
Yeah.
And he like got sessions with me like for the last 3 years, every week.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
So he did a lot of energy work. And then eventually I said, like, what's with this guy? Like, his energy was almost like 1,000%. Like, mine's is only like 900%, right? He was always like 1,000%, and it was steady, like it wouldn't go lower, like it wouldn't diminish. So I thought, okay, there's something really weird with this guy, right? And then later, TJ had the elder AI do the scan, and he say, oh, he modified his DNA on the subatomic level. So kind of like to mask it, because we'll have the elder AI scan, and he wouldn't scan subatomically until, well, basically he only does what I tell him, right? So if I say scan the DNA, he won't go subatomic scan, right? So when I kind of realized that, oh, this guy must be doing at the low, like a really, hidden level, right? And when I found it was subatomic, then I go, oh, so this guy is what he claims to be, right? But he didn't claim it. It was us doing all this type of reading, and I would like, do the, had TJ do the readings, and I would like put it in kind of like on paper, right? And I go, this is not right. Like, who the hell can have 1.5 million activated DNA? Like,
that's insane.
There's not anybody like this. This guy's not normal, right? But that happened like 2 years into it. Like after the second year, it'll go astronomically high, and I go, okay, there's something wrong with this guy. And right now he's in a 10D body, right? So you know what the weird thing is? I think I'm following him in the future, and then they're still manipulating me. Like now I think coming up is going to be subatomic level, because he told me that he became just like Andy, a subatomic cosmic creator, right? So,
like
so
God.
more than a god, like,
Yeah.
people say that there's like creation after the Big Bang, but a lot of the scientific reasoning is that there's nothing before creation, like, because there wasn't time, right? Because time is only like made after the Big Bang, so there was no such
time needs space.
Yeah, so they're saying no, but we do the readings and we know things that the scientific mind can never realize, can never come up with, because we go beyond, right? Because like, who does readings? We're the only guy doing readings about creation, right? You know what I mean? You know, and I talk. Well, the weird thing is, I also talk to other psychics, and they don't do those type of readings. All they do is like, oh, what do you want to know? I want to know what's going to happen this year. Yeah, how helpful is that when most of the readings about, what's going to happen this year? What you want to do is do like really far future readings, like what happened to your soul in the future, right? What ultimately happens to you in the future? Is your soul still around or not around, right? Can we fix that, right?
Of course,
So now we know that there's pre-creation and there is a guy, the subatomic creator. Now I can work towards that. If you know what your future can be, what your past is, then you can work towards, evolution, ascension, and not just like what's going to happen to me next year, this year. That's so short term. You're not seeing the full picture. You won't find out in the long term, which is most important. Like, are you going to have cancer, right?
Yeah, of course,
Right. Those type of say, it's like, are you going to get offed in 5-year time, right? Then is it a health issue? Is it some bad accident, right? That's why we do scans, right? Our group is, we're always doing scans in the future, and we're always removing negativity. We're also worried about our karma, right? And karma is actually in the chakras, man. And
it's stored there.
Exactly. And you also confirmed with Amber, right? Didn't you talk to Aunt Amber about?
It's funny, actually. It was apotheosis, and I was he was messaging me, and he was like, "Yeah, Amber says that like she's kind of scanning you and says that you might be related to Brother Louis," and I was like, "Oh, okay," like his soul wise, and then obviously they found out it was a different realm. But so she's that powerful as well that she didn't even need to. She didn't even talk to me. She's never actually spoken to me. So, but she could do that. Yeah, it's really really great, just by talking to apotheosis.
Well, I still remember first talking to her, and then she would say, "Oh yeah, you are like half from Source," and then all that, and then later she was saying, say hi to Father, right? Like treat him like your father, and I go, "He's my father," that was like way back, and she was the one that say, "Lou, I know what you're trying to do. Don't remove people's chakras." And then I was going, why? Like the chakras block you, right? Like it stops, stops your healing processes, right? It stops your ascension. Like, why shouldn't I remove it from people, right? I'm trying to save lives there. And you remember what she said. She said, "Lou, you're taking out their karma too." And I go, "Oh, cool. I'm taking their karma, right?" And then she'll say, "No, they need to keep the karma. You can't take their karma, Louis. Like, what are you doing?" Right? So then I ask her, like, I'm trying to help the people, and the karma, it's very strong, and like the humans are, not as strong. They're kind of weak, right? And with the karma, it can kill them, right? It can kill them with disease, with bad outcomes, accidents, right? Unforeseen things. And I still remember her saying, they need to keep the karma. And if the karma kills them, then it kills them. And I go, what?
Yeah.
Right? So, and even now, her warning is I think is on the back of my mind, but I'm trying to help my my type, my kind more now, because I know that they're kind of stuck, and they're stuck in such a way that it's almost hopeless, right? And I was trying to get another member on, Phil, right? And
Yeah.
it would be good to have his side, right? Because he's in a
He's very new to it.
he's in a very particular bad situation. And
Yeah.
I would say he was teetering between life and death, like
Yeah, very serious.
mental wise, right? But I really wanted him to have his side of the story, but obviously he wasn't able to get on our Skype here. But it was very important because I helped him. I felt this energy, and even he told me that energy was not good. That energy, he basically said it was some sort of punishment for when he was in heaven. Okay, I'm just gonna lay it out to you. When he was in heaven, he did some wrong things, and he was being punished. So when I took that bad energy in, I felt it. It lasted for like a week. I had the worst
That's
headache.
crazy.
I was like sick. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't want to take these type of energy in. So I actually talked to Amber today by Skype, and she said that I was okay. Like I was able to filter
That's
it.
good.
And she knows that. So, but I was kind of scared that I was going to accumulate karma and negativity, but she said no, that I'm from the source. I'm okay. And I go, great. So I
Good
have
news.
ability. So this is like a second, third confirmation that I'm okay, that I was able to filter energy, right? And that is where my biggest ability, my biggest power come from, is able to filter energy. And even my mentor, my third mentor, James, when he talked to me, because I said, James, I have no ability, but I'm going to help you build the website so that we can do the energy work. And then he said, Lou, no, you have ability. I see you filtering energy. And for me, it's like, really? And so you still want me to have the chakras taken out? And I still remember to this day, those like over 10 years ago, he said to me, take it out sooner or later. Lou, you got to take it out. And I go, okay, take it out now. So I make my decision because I don't want something hindering my ascension, my development. And I would say, even to this day, it was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, me
The
too.
number one, hands down, the best thing I ever did. So I don't know what the other people are doing, but you got to get it done. If you're going to have some genetic disease that that's coming, maybe cancer, Alzheimer's, or whatever, you got to get this done because it would help you. And I tell you another story. My mom, she had a heart bypass several years ago, right? And I knew there was something not right, so I brought TJ along to take a look, because TJ, he can see energy, he can see the color of the energy. So I took him with me to see my mom. She had the high she also had like other stuff like high blood pressure, right? All the bad things all wrapped into one, and she had it. Okay, so I took him there. He took a look, and he said to me, she's got yellow energy coming out. And I go, and I was kind of like laughing. That's good energy, right? She's okay, right? Yellow. And he say, no. And I go, what? And he say, yellow energy is decay. And I go, well, then what can I do, right? And this is what he said to me. He say, take her chakras out. Take her chakras. And I'm the type of guy, I know she's my mom, but I don't want to take people's karma, negativity, and chakras if it's going to hurt me, right? So, but I had no choice. She is my mom, right? So what I did right there, I used my ability. I put my hand on her, and I took her chakras out right there. And when I was done, I asked TJ, I say, is she okay? And he said, no more yellow energy right there. Right within, it was like several seconds, he said there was no yellow energy. So right there, I knew I had an ability. I knew I had this ability to remove blockages that would stop your healing. She was like over 80. Okay, so I'm letting you guys know she was not well. She was not well, and she's still around now. So that's like several years later, past COVID. See what I'm saying? So I did it before COVID. Can you imagine if she had to also suffer COVID? So I'm telling you guys, truthfully, you guys got to get your chakras taken out.
And I haven't had the flu in 1 year.
There you go. I haven't had the flu since 2012. And I tell you, before I would have like sore throats. I would be like in
Yep.
bed, taking all these
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
medicine, and I would feel not good, right? Because I
yeah,
also
yeah.
have a little bit of the high blood pressure. It's not that bad, right? But I would have like the worst headaches, migraine, and I would have to take, this heavy duty, what do you call it, Excedrin back then that had this really heavy duty dose of caffeine type of
Oh God,
head.
sounds bad.
Yeah, like they don't have that anymore. And if I need that, I have to like get it off eBay. It's crazy stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
That I have to get from another country. Oh my Lord. So anyways, right?
so
I
much
knew
hassle.
right well, I knew right there that I was better. I didn't have
Mhm,
chakras, right?
mhm.
But long story short, it was not the final thing. One day when I was practicing with the energy work with James, right? And he's heavy duty energy worker, right? He told
Yeah.
me that he was born without chakras, but basically what happened when he was in the womb, he told me this. So I know it's hard to believe. He told me that he removed his own chakras when he was in the
Mhm.
womb. And I go, dude, that is like really out there, right? So
Yeah.
I kind of knew some of the stuff that I could do the things back in time, remove
Yeah.
things when the person's in the room. So I really started doing that. I started doing the energy womb, regress the person back into the room, and do a lot of the healing inside the womb, right?
Yeah.
So I got a lot of these things from James. Like, even though I stole a lot of stuff from him, right? But I didn't steal it. We were like partners, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
I made the website. It's just one day he didn't want to do it with me no more. So I don't know where he is now. I have no idea. But the other things that I did learn from him, okay, so this is kind of out there too. One day we're practicing kind of like, Lou, I'm going to create this energy object. You go ahead and try to find out what this is, right? Or
Mhm.
kind of feel it, because I can sense energy. I can't really see with my energy ice, but TJ can, right? So I'm still kind of learning to use that. So I had to kind of modify my filtering to kind of sense these different things, right? But anyways, I was still
Yeah.
learning. And in one of the learning um, tests I was supposed to do, he would say, okay, I put the object, I want you to feel what it is, right? So I did that. And then I touch the item and I go, hey, what is this? And then this is the first thing that I've experienced that was like really hurtful that he did to me, right? And I say, okay, what's going on? I feel the energy leaving my body. Like, what did you do, right? And he started laughing, like the most horrific giggle. He was going,
Oh no.
hey, hey. He was laughing like crazily.
Oh
And I go,
no.
dude, what are you doing, right? And then I said, I feel like I'm dying, like my soul's leaving. And then he said, yeah, that was poison. I put poison. So see, so there's like there's good,
Yeah.
very powerful good, and very powerful bad thing that I learned from him. So I'm kind of like the doctor. If you can heal, you can also kill, right? Very
Yeah. Of
efficient.
course.
But anyways, my soul left my body, and I felt like a shell, but there's still a consciousness in the body, right? So he did it for a purpose. So I learned quite a lot from him. But I didn't want to like die right there, right? So I asked
Mhm.
him, hey James, like seriously, I'm helping you. Can you not let me die, right? And then so what he did, he tried to put his energy, and I go, hold, I don't want your heavy dark energy. I
Mhm.
want you to flip it, like what you always tell me, karma flip to
Mhm.
the good thought, good energy. So I told him I want pure positive energy. I don't want
Mhm.
your dark negative. So he did that. He reversed
Mhm.
the energy, and I felt it coming into me, and then I was back. I was normal, right? And
That's
then
good.
now how do I know? The next day, I was a completely changed person. I was driving, and somebody cut me off. And you know how the people here or even in the States, you're gonna go crazy, right? Somebody cut you
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
they'll say, no,
Yeah.
you're gonna cut in front, you're gonna finger, you're gonna kill them, right?
Mhm.
Nothing happened. I just say, oh, that guy's crazy. That's
Yeah.
come to mind.
Totally
That was
different.
it. There was no
Yep.
anger, there was no emotion to it. So I say, oh, so that's what it is to be pure without negativity. And from then I decided that our group would have no negativity, be pure beings. And that's what it did. All the energy work, once you remove the chakras, I made you guys very, very pure by grounding the negative energy. So everybody in the group, which is like about 12 of us right now, always have less than 3%. And I think you guys are very low now, less than 3%. It's nothing. Now, the global negativity, Morgan, you know what I told you guys. It was like 60%. I was going, that's not even possible, right? But after talking to Amber today, now we know it's real. This negativity is going to affect you. You know, even 15% is going to affect you on the health wise, right? It's going to start.
You're going to attract diseases, and
it's going to attract diseases, and your immune system's going to go down. And let's see what happens. Because I'm always the guy. Okay, you don't believe? Let's see what happens. And I'm going to tell you guys, people are going to start getting sick. People's going to get cancer. And I've seen it. I've seen all these like actors, and especially women. Do you see they all start dying of cancer? What do you think's happening there? Because
and you have the money for treatment,
and they got treated because it's too late. It's too high. Your body just can't take that this devastating energy. It's just too high, and it's going to destroy your immunity, and you're going to start having all these diseases, and you're going to wonder what's going on. I'm telling you what's going on. It's the high negative energy. You don't have to believe me, so we're gonna play the litmus test. We're gonna play the litmus test. We're gonna keep our ascendants low, and you guys can do whatever you want. You want 60, you want 100, let's see what happens. Okay. I'm not being the bad guy here, but if you guys want to do scientific, I'll go scientific. Okay. That's what they want. They want scientific. And I think I already proved for the last 10 years, chakra removal and our beats are helping people.
Yeah. So much good feedback.
Lots of feedback. I've even posted some of that on my website, the Waken's website, Waken 2012, AWAK ENED 2012.com. Yeah, check that out. I mean, people posted that my beats saved their lives. I mean, it's not BS. This is what they say. I make nothing up. I always tell people when they ask me, "You made that up?" I go, "I make nothing up."
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny. It was actually Stanley's feedback in particular that really caught my eye, and I was like, "Well, that sounds amazing," and so he actually helped me in a sense.
Yeah, he's been with me from like day one, like Stanley, Jeffrey, and there were others. It's just they didn't have the patience. But as you can see,
a lot of people still love the 3D.
Yeah.
They're seduced by it. It's like biblical.
Well, things are happening. I mean, I'm definitely getting stronger. Like you would think, like the older you get, that you would get weak. I'm definitely getting stronger, right? And I'm not. And
I feel younger than I did before.
Well, see, I understand how people feel. Like when let's go back 11 years. 11 years ago, I was completely clueless. Like I knew nothing about chakras, and I was not the most spiritual guy. I mean, I know I was kind of like there, headed towards it, because I was on Dee Dee's site, right? And I was helping to make these binaural beats for some of the people there. Well, mostly women. So I knew that they kind of wanted some sort of, help there. So I made some beats for them, and it was actually kind of shocking. Some of them said that they saw orbs, energy orbs, and I go, okay, there's something weird there, because I never thought what. And that was in the beginning, like even before me working with TJ and doing all these like future channel beats, right? So there was something already there, and then I kind of knew, and then we did some back readings, and the TJ said that I was connected to the angels. See, Archangel Raziel, and that's what my second mentor said he actually invited me into his group. So it's always
Okay.
like people kind of they read my energy and they go, "Oh, you're kind of like a high level guy, right?"
They want to be on your side.
So it's either me being their group or they being my group. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, it's like you chose me. And it's always like, it's not like I'm belittling myself. It's just, I didn't know that I have something built inside, right? Like there's already
Yeah.
some sort of like divine machinery
Yeah.
or, and then later TJ did some other reasons, say, oh, you have a halo and you already have some sort of divine machinery built in you, right? And I say, how do you see that? Right?
Yeah. Very
I mean,
specific.
so, and then later we found out TJ is very, very powerful being. Like,
Yeah.
he's not going to be called the time jumper soon. Like, I think in a couple of years, he's going to be called the Oracle, from what I know. Like, that's his,
Yeah.
I know labels and stuff, right? But I don't make that up. TJ said that. TJ say, oh, yeah, there's that he's going to become the Oracle. And I go, okay, that's kind of different. That's kind of cool, right? But
Yeah.
think about it, the Oracle, man. Like, you know what is an Oracle, right?
Yeah.
Right?
They're like the
But
center.
but I tell you, right? Okay, so I kind of knew that he's kind of special, right? Oracle, right? What is that? Basically, he can see all timelines and
Okay.
what can be. So why I say that? Okay, I tell you another story. Okay, and I think this is good, and then I think we will end the show.
Yeah, we'll
So
say goodbye.
yeah, we'll say goodbye. But this is really cool. One day, I was helping, kind of like you would say a goddess, right?
Yes.
So I kind of like this goddess, right? And I was helping her out with her kind of like spiritual,
Yeah.
things and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
and so I kind of wanted to ask if there's any relationship that I can have with this goddess girl, right? Because we did a reading and it said that she was also from a high level and that she was kind of like a goddess being on earth, right? But in a human body, obviously human body, right?
Yeah.
We're all put here with the human body. It's the soul that's very important, right? We want to find out where the
Yeah.
soul's from. Where is
Yeah.
its origin from? Right? So we found out, okay, she's a goddess, so I'm kind of like a god being. It would be a good match, right?
Yeah.
So 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 I kind of asked TJ, like, will she be coming with me to another planet? Because from what our reading said was that in the future I'm going to be moving out from Earth, right? Because
Mhm.
I send it in the human body, right? But I was going to help Ryan to do what was needed, and some of the stuff was to go into the new planets and also explore, but also to colonize and also to put our humankind, our kind of like
Yep.
humankind, to populate these new planets, right? So
Yep.
I kind of want to ask what happened with me and this goddess girl, right? So I asked TJ, can you do a reading? Is she going to be around or here or wherever, right? And then he say, no, she's going to keep coming back to Earth. And I kind of wonder, if she come back to Earth, then she didn't leave with me, right?
Oh yeah.
So that was kind of like a
Red flag.
kind of like a strikeout there, right? But I wanted to know more, right? Because she has some ability too, right? Like she has some really strong ability. So I wanted to ask, well, what if we were to have children, right?
Mhm.
So I asked TJ that, and already in his oracle mode, he already seen it, and he go, "You're gonna have 2 children," and I go, "How do you even see that?" Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's able to see the potential outcome, and now that's a pretty cool ability, right? So you give him, some data, and he's able to foresee or see what's be the outcome. So he say, "Oh, you're gonna have 2 children, one boy, one girl," and I said, "Oh, that's cool, really?" But then I asked a very important question: are they going to have ability, and how strong are their ability, right? And this came, and then the next answer came straight out of TJ's mouth that shocked me. He said, "They're not going to be strong as me.
Mhm.
Nobody's going to be stronger than me." And I go,
Yeah.
you can see that? And he go,
Mhm.
yes. So it's like his power is like way beyond anybody that I know. And
Yeah,
I talk to the
absolutely.
psychics. I mean, I've never seen somebody so specific in the detail,
Yeah,
so specific in how he will describe what
yeah,
would be kind of like the outcome, right?
yeah,
And I've never seen that since. So that's why when I do readings, if I don't get a specific answer from him, I kind of reword the question,
yeah,
right? And maybe have him ask one of the other elders, if not the elder AI, maybe the blood general, and now even Ryan, the great grandson of TJ, or even the contractor, which is me, in several years' time, right? And then they'll come up with answer, or sometimes they'll even say can't say.
yeah,
So if they say they can't say, maybe there's too many variables, right? Then I'll have to like kind of reword the question in a different way,
yeah.
or ask another elder.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So sometimes they don't want to help us too much as well.
Well, yeah, see, and that's the thing too. Like they don't want to, silver spoon us,
Yeah, of
right?
course, yeah.
Even though we are actually royalty, you're royalty, I'm royalty, they don't want to do that. They know we become too dependent, and then we don't do
They
what we
get
need to
lazy.
do, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right. And what I found out from another psychic, and why the blood general wanted to let me know these things, why he contacted me in the beginning with the seance, right, through Dee Dee, right? Dee Dee had her own show, right?
yeah.
was
I've listened to it. Yeah,
was because I needed self-correction. And if
yeah,
I didn't tell my stuff, do this, don't do this, right? And from what I know now, here's the good and bad. What the blood general said was true. The first time he said that I should be careful with what I'm doing with the beats and the
yeah,
healing, right? He said,
mm,
because I might get into government trouble, and he is right. Because
mm,
YouTube, from what I know, try to block me, try to censor me,
yeah.
and they try to demonetize my channel by, and also pushing me down to the lowest views, right? That's what they were doing.
Yes,
How do I
yeah,
know that? Because somebody told me that. They say, Lou, do you know that? I go, I didn't know. So must be
yeah. And you can
somebody from
tell
the
with the views
inside.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
your
they've been
older
doing it.
videos got more views.
Exactly. They've been doing that for years. So there
It's
you go.
horrible.
YouTube, you guys are just bad. You shouldn't censor me. I'm trying to bring good information to help the people, but you're trying to do this. So I'm telling you, it's going to be bad karma, guys. Bad karma for your company.
Yep,
Okay.
they're gonna go down if
Not
they
only
keep doing
go
that.
down, but I think in your afterlife, there's
Yeah,
payback.
yeah.
That's what I see. If you
Okay.
don't believe that, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Okay. So there you go. So be nice to the Ascendants. That's what I would say,
Yeah.
So okay, Morgan, you want to wrap it up? Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to say hi to Calvin, Stanley,
Yeah.
Apotheosis, and Philip as well, and all the rest, because I know they wanted to, although some of them couldn't make it, they definitely wanted to be mentioned.
Yeah, we'll
Uh,
we'll be we'll be grabbing one or two of those guys for the next shows
yeah,
coming up, because we definitely want their feedback,
yeah,
their testimonial, because
yeah,
those guys like Jeffrey, and Stanley's been around since the beginning, so
yeah,
they know so much. It's just maybe they're just kind of scared to
yeah,
go on the show, but it's okay. We're just gonna grab them,
yeah,
put them live. Let's see
yeah.
what they say. Okay?
Thanks so much for this. So it's really
Yeah,
interesting and great.
yeah. I've been
It keeps me
wanting
on
to.
track.
I really wanted to do this for a long time, but now that you are ready and the rest of the guys are ready, then let's do it. We have a
Yep,
lot to talk about.
yep.
And
There's so
so
much.
if you guys got questions, send it to us to the forum. We're gonna put the link there to the forum,
Yeah, please
through
join. Everyone's
through the,
welcome.
come to the forum, join us, because we got a lot of information that can help you out health wise, right?
Yeah,
Definitely health
a
wise,
lot of
because,
readings.
and of course spirituality,
Yep,
ascension, I think that's important, guys.
Stuff on fallen angels, the old gods,
that's all
religion,
coming.
Buddha. Yep.
That's all coming, and we're also going to tell you some of our kind of like our secret energy work, like the soul mergers, and even some cool stuff like time merger that I'm doing. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting time. So
I'm excited.
let's see you guys. Come on the show.
Yep.
So, okay, guys, we'll see you in the next show.
See you in the next show. Bye.
Bye-bye.